right, and I think we are live here. Just need to set up some of the broadcast stuff, and we'll be good to go. Couldn't time this one perfectly, but I think at this point we should be all set up and we can get into this game. Okay, it looks like we have Oodlesofnoodle here using the swapped points and stars and Mewsh on the regular one. As I take a moment here to get situated into the game state. There's already a lot to take in, jumping in a little bit into this game, maybe 5-10 turns in. 5 turns in. First of all, we see a Zinza here, which is very strange. That card seems to have no combo ability with Sindel whatsoever. So if this card is seeing play, it most likely has something to do with maybe floating rock. So we could be in for a real treat here. Otherwise, we see another rare card, Molten Mage, to give your creature some extra health, and a Meltalon. Which will give Mewsh 7 points now, putting him well in the lead. On the other side, we seem to have what looks like a much more standard Sindel list. It's going to be very interesting here to see, will Mewsh's experience and unorthodox list be able to triumph over the more conventional Sindel list piloted by a player who just started playing this game maybe a month ago? So far, both players are on seven cards, but Mewsh is up on points. Really, he's taking the lead in this one. Palfiam comes down from Oodlesofnoodle, going to allow him to swing for 3 points here, bringing him up to 4. And I am just realizing Mewshmallow is also on a 60 card deck. That's it didn't even cross my mind to look at that. So this tournament, the winner of it gets to have their entire deck. Zach will give it to the winner in real physical form. And if you have a 60 card deck, you get all 60 of those cards, versus the much more traditional 34. I mean, 60 cards in a deck is unheard of. No one plays that amount. And despite Mewsh's kind of like self-criticizing, he's doing pretty well this game. You're gonna gain the star from Sindel. Sindel reads every time a creature on your planet. A Sindel creature on your planet is killed by an opponent's attack or creature ability. you gain 1 star. So that attack from Meltalon will net Oodlesofnoodle a star, putting him up to 3. Started the turn with 7, gonna pay 4 for a battle zone here. And Gehenna comes down. Gehenna allows you to attach one of your opponent's creatures to it, and then for each attached creature, it gains 50 power. So now Gehenna has 150 power and health. And there's a couple of extra little bit requirements. For example, when you have a Gehenna in play, you're not allowed to play attachment cards. And when Gehenna would die, you may remove an attachment from it. In this case, it would be Meltalon to protect it. However, it would then become an 100 creature. Now we see Space Patrolman. Let's see here. With a 60 card deck, there's going to be a lot of unconventional cards that have to necessarily get played. Space Patrolman is going to kill the Meltalon, and now Mewsh can swing into that Gehenna. Gehenna is going to die here while we wait for Oodlesofnoodle to respond. And Oodlesofnoodle is going to gain 1 more star. It's a complete mystery what the other 48 cards in Mewsh's deck are. You'd think he'd have most of the staples, the Crashes, the Beasts, maybe Skelligast combos, but every combo that's in the deck is going to be incredibly unreliable when there's so many other cards in there. Now we wait for Gehenna to die. And it does, and it's Oodle's return to respond to the Space Patrolman. And for a South Sign, that's one way to do it. It's going to be a little costly. For 5 stars, you could buy a better creature. The reason Space Patrolman is so expensive is because of that ability to kill an attachment. But nonetheless, Oodles has lots of stars at this moment, or at least enough. I'm gonna swing for 2, putting him up to 8 points. Mewshmallow, on the other hand, only had 5 stars here, a little lower. Could buy back the Space Patrolman, but then Oodles can just buy it right back. We could get into this trade where it gets jumped back and forth, but eventually Oodles, with the small star lead, is gonna win. Because if Mewsh spends all 5 stars to buy back Space Patrolman, next turn Oodles is gonna gain 4, gonna go to 6, gonna buy it back, and Mewsh is only gonna have 4 stars to respond. Instead, we see the Vazuzu. Another card that is almost never seen in this game. Vazuzu comes down, swings swings against the patrolman, and we continue this back and forth. But Mewshmallow next turn is only going to have 4 stars to work with. That's not a lot. There's not a lot you can do against a lot of creatures with only 4 stars. Card like a Skelligast or a Skelipede would be really good. Combine Harvester as well will do it. Normally Gehenna is a really hard card to get in play because you have to get both of the combo pieces. But now, every time you draw Combine Harvester, that turns into a Gehenna. So Gehenna comes back into play, attaches the Vizuzu. It's going to open up the board for Oodles to swing for 2 more points, bringing him up to 10, which marks the halfway point. 20 points will be enough for Oodles to win, as specified by the rules. And now it's up to Mewsh with only 4 stars, plenty of cards, to look for a way to respond to yet another Gehenna. Quadriga comes down, another unique one. You can pay stars to kill cards in your deck, but it's a little bit of an expensive thing. Mewsh does not have the stars to afford that. Instead, he attacks the Gehenna. Oodles does choose to protect it, which is optional. If Oodles want to be more aggressive, he could have done something else. However, there is a little bit of a... Wait, if I do remember the card correctly. Yeah, so when Gehenna is in play, you are not allowed to play attachments. And the reason this is a rule is that if it wasn't, you could just keep on attaching cards to Gehenna and giving them infinite lives. That's what Zach had in mind with that ruling. So Oodles is going to have to find another way to kill that Quadriga. Now we're seeing one of the drawbacks of Gehenna here is that it's hard to kill sometimes. Hard to kill your opponent's creatures when you only have an 100 creature that blocks both of the zones. Oodles does have the response this time around with Charge Blaster, but all that works is only going to give him a single point, putting him up to 11. And Mewsh now, if he wants, has the option to take his time. He could draw pass here and only risk another point. Instead, we see Thousand-Eyed Fish. Every card Mewsh plays brings me a little bit of joy because it's a card I have never seen in competitive play, not a single time. But in this instance, it will be enough to kill Gehenna. And 250 health is nothing to scoff at. It's another problem for Oodles to deal with. We'll see how he responds. He might have to commit something a little bit heavier, such as a Lava Behemoth. We shall see. Oh, what's this though? Mewsh not even trying to attack, just trying to leave the Gehenna there and saying that you don't have another way to kill it. But Oodles' hand seems to be full of removal options. First we saw the Charge Blaster, then we saw the Nightmare. But you have to think, are these removal options being wasted on these 1-point swings from from Gehenna? Yes, Oodles is at 12 points, but these last 8 could be hard to get to if Oodles runs out of removal options, such as Charge Blaster, such as Nightmare. Still has the KO. So eventually, when that Gehenna does die, KO will be able to come into play. And Mushu just passes, which in most cases would be really scary, except all Oodles can likely do here is swing with Gehenna, unless he wants to somehow buy a creature zone for 8 stars and play a creature into it. So it seems we understand now what Mush's play has been, and that is to only bring cards to the deck that he doesn't own. It's an interesting strategy. I don't know how it works out against a field of super optimized decks which really want to win. But I guess we'll see if Mush can make it past the first round with this abomination of a deck. Gigantros comes down. Finally, the Gehenna is killed, but only after Oodles has committed that 8 stars for the third zone. And there comes the KO we saw earlier, bringing Gigantros down to 0 health. But there comes the Home Seeker we saw earlier. Homeseeker Mush has to pay the cost of killing a card in his hand, but as a result, he gets to save that Gigantros, attach the KO to Wakuman instead. Homing Seeker does have an additional effect that you have to kill a card in your hand. So let's not forget about that. Mush, not being too aggressive here, probably could have played another creature and swung for 3 points. However, choosing to take it slow. This will allow Oodles to get a draw, get a star, draw for turn, gain 4 more stars, which gives them enough resources to come up with some sort of additional pressure. Telepathic Touch likely here will get another piece of Gehenna, although Oodles will not be allowed to play it this turn. Gester comes down, killing the creature zone, but not enough to kill Gigantros. 300 health is proving a little bit too high for the new player. And Mush, again, not doing too much here, just killing the Guster, putting the ball back in Noodle's court, and asking him the tough questions. How are you going to kill this guy? Because if you don't, I'm just going to keep on pressuring, keep on killing your guys. It looks like we have the answer. It's Gehenna. Back again. Gonna attach the Gigantron. This is the third time we've seen this play this game. Thorngeborg comes down as well. Thorngeborg will not be able to attack because you need 2 battle zones for a combiner, just like you need 2 creature zones for a combiner. But that is still 2 points, bringing Oodle to 215. Only 5 more needed to win this game and knock a veteran out of the tournament in the first round. Remember, this is Galaxy Madness. There is no Swiss, there is no separate pools bracket, there is no double elimination, some losers round, there is no best of 3. It is one game, and whoever wins it will be moving on, and whoever loses will be out of this tournament for good. And Mewsh is putting his hopes on the line with a Frostboss. 200 power, 100 health, 3 stars, and a De, which will be enough in this position to kill the Thorngeborg and kill the Gehenna. Oodles again choosing to protect it. You're going to get a draw off of Thorngeborg. Thorngeborg, when you kill it, you do get a draw, which is really big. And now Oodles with 15 points, so close to winning this game, but he's gonna have to find a way to kill with this De. Gonna have to find a way to kill this Frostboss, and does not have it. Could be sitting on a beast here though. If Mewsh does decide to be aggressive all of a sudden, he could kill the Gehenna with Frostboss, swing into Sindel with De, but at that point a beast of the black hole would be devastating. Then again, Mewsh has a long way to go. 7 points is not enough. And there we go, we see the response. And there it is, Beast. That's big. That's really big. Now Oodles just needs 2 creatures here and to hope that Mewsh does not have an activator. And if the cards are right, this could be it. This could be the final turn of the game. Gehenna will die, giving Oodles 1 more star. Plenty of stars, just enough cards. It could happen right here. Mewsh must be holding his breath right now. There's not much he can do if he doesn't have any activators. He just has to hope that Oodle's cards are not in the right combination to take the game right here. Shozian Lava Behemoth, that's 5 points, that'll do it. Does Mewsh have the activator? Does he have field? Does he have beast? This could be it. No response from Mewsh. And in an upset I doubt anyone expected, that brings Oodles up to... And look at the hand from Mewshmallow. Wow. That is something alright. I don't know what Mewsh was thinking there with that deck, but it was certainly entertaining. Oodle, on the other hand, will be moving on in the bracket. Congrats to him for winning this game. And that'll do it. The first game of Galaxy Madness finished.